Hey guys, welcome back to the New Tennis Era podcast. My name's Anthony Hirsch. Today I'm going to be talking about the Miami final that went down between Jakub Mensik and Novak Djokovic, where Jakub Mensik took his first ATP title, his first big title, his first Masters title, in his first Masters final, playing against a guy who's been in 60 Masters finals, 60, 6-0, 6-0. 7-6, 7-6, two straight sets. I'm going to give my analysis on what went down, but what a win for Mensik, who's up to world number 24. Mensik playing absolutely fantastic tennis throughout the week, serving so well, taking out Fritz and then Djokovic, two of the best players on hard courts of the last few years. So we got to talk about it. We got to talk about Mensik's win here. Djokovic going for title number 100. He was denied. This final is the largest age gap by far, by over 2 years, of two opponents in a Masters final playing against each other. More than, say, Djokovic versus Alcaraz in Cincinnati. Huge age gap in the final. And I felt like the things that Mensik did differently and better here than he did against Djokovic in Shanghai. Well, number one is I feel like Mensik played the big points way better. I mean, he's serving so well this week. I feel like that was such a good crutch for his confidence to keep coming back to, as the serve can be. And Mensik not only served really well, but he did really well at getting Novak's returns back in play. And I feel like the other thing that Mensik was doing quite well was his backhand was actually really good in this match. And I feel like that was the shot that Novak really wanted to attack and exploit a little bit, but it really wasn't working because Mensik was able to keep the backhand to backhand pretty much. It wasn't terrible for him, as it can often be against Novak. And I feel like Novak was slicing a lot throughout this match on his backhand side for whatever reason. I feel like maybe a problem with the leg or the thigh or something, not an injury necessarily, but just he wasn't able to get up on the backhand and hit over it to the way he wanted to. So he was really relying on a lot of slices, which I feel like he was starting to try to change by the second set, but he was making a lot of backhand unforced errors hitting over the backhand. And Mensik's backhand, like I said, was holding up. And the fact that Novak's backhand wasn't working and he was hitting it very central, Mensik, as he was doing against Fritz, was doing really well at opening up the court with his forehand and hitting his forehand inside out, which was exploiting Novak's backhand, which was not working very well. So those were some things that Mensik did better. Also, Mensik was just more clutch. As I said, just more clutch. In the Shanghai match, where Mensik actually won the first set, Mensik saved just 5 for 9 break points. Here, he only faced 1 break point. Very rare for Djokovic's opponent to face just 1 break point in the match because he's playing against the greatest returner of all time in Djokovic. And that's exactly what happened here. He lost the break point, to be fair, Mensik, but the good thing that he was doing well was keeping those break points at a minimum, because not only is the issue in the Shanghai match that Mensik wasn't being clutch, but also Novak is the king of being clutch. He's so good in the clutch, and he will make it really difficult in the big points. So making sure that Novak doesn't even get break points is really crucial. And Mensik, the tiebreaker king this week, 7-0 in tiebreakers, which is really fantastic. So those were some things that I want to mention right from the get-go. I'll talk about key points in the match as well. But I thought it was really nice to see a matchup like this. Mensik has talked about the fact that Djokovic is his biggest idol and inspiration. I could see that pretty well with some of his open stance slides. He actually moves decently well. For a guy you could call a bigger guy, he moves very well. He also became the second youngest title winner of Miami behind Alcaraz. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that Czech tennis is in such a good place right now. It's in such a good place. On the women's side, there are so many good Czech players, from Muhova to Vondrousova to, I mean, there's so many. And then On the men's side now, you have Lehechka, you have Mahac, you have Mensik, and I've been backing Mensik for a long time. Like I've been saying that Mensik has so much higher potential than a lot of people are giving him credit for, and I'm so happy to see Draper and Mensik win the Sunshine Double. Like, it's an exciting time because I feel like this is now when the gears for the new era are getting started. Like, Sinner and Alcaraz have really been spearheading everything. It's good to see two other guys really showing top tier potential. I mean, you can also talk about Fonseca at the start of this year too. He's got still very young. He's gonna still need some time to really get his feet planted in the tour. But Draper, Mensik, I feel like when guys like Arthur Fils, who's up to world number 15, by the way, career high, but Draper, Fils, Mensik, Fonseca, when we get all those guys, you know, up in the not just top 15, maybe even top 10, top 5 in the world, that is when we're going to see how exciting the new era is, how dynamic these players are, how fresh these players are, how athletic they are, sliding on hard courts, open stance, just sliding all over the place. Very Novak inspired, no doubt about it. Just the new wave of tennis and the way that Alcaraz has every shot in the book, and you know, just the way that these guys are playing, even like a Jerry Shang, like these guys are fun to watch. Arnaldi, like I'm excited. I think right now we're in a little bit of an in-between period, even though it's not really an in-between period because Sinner and Alcaraz have already started winning everything, won the last 5 slams, but we're kind of in that period where Alcaraz is finding some more consistency and we're having all of these things. So these young guys are kind of coming up still. So we'll see what happens. But then you even like guys like Tsitsipas, Ruud, like guys who have been around, they're going to still be issues. So it's going to be a really interesting time. So anyway, without further ado, I want to actually talk about the match itself. So first off, let's start in the first set. So Mensik broke early, like real early, at 1-0 in the first set. Just some wayward forehands from Novak. His forehand was not working for him in the first half of the first set at all, Djokovic. I feel like often when Novak looks sluggish and tired, or hasn't quite mentally zoned in, his forehand and getting low to the forehand can sometimes be trouble for him. And here he looked sluggish. He looked tired. He didn't look 100%. I don't know what it was. He had an issue where it almost looked like he had a black eye, very clear distress with his eyes. So, I don't know how much it affected him, but for sure it affected him a little bit. But yeah, Novak got broken right away. Like I said, Mensik doing really well just at making some returns, and Novak couldn't take advantage of balls that maybe he usually would have been able to. Mensik just making balls in play, especially on the backhand when that was being attacked with big serves, getting depth. And also I felt like he was rating himself in forehand to forehand against Novak. Like I said, that forehand this week has been a weapon. Like Mensik serve, he's been a bit of a serve bot this week, but he's got a complete game. Like he's got a pretty complete game, and that forehand is so good at opening up the court, both down the line and inside out. And he does it twice just beautifully at a point at 3-1, love 15. That actually has Novak fall on the ground the first time. Novak fell on the ground, I think, 3 times in this match. And that's a testament to, I think, how tired maybe Novak and his legs were. You know, age is a real thing. Novak was trying to do like Federer did at 37, almost 38, win the Miami Open. That's what Fed did, but it's not easy to do. And Novak even a little bit older, slightly, like a few months older than Federer was at that time too. But yeah, just a lot, like I said earlier, a lot of slices early from Novak, and Mensik was doing pretty well dealing with it. I think that was part of the strategy, though, keeping it low to the backhand of Mensik. But that backhand from Mensik showed up. He just showed up. This was a stronger version of Mensik than Novak played in Shanghai. And like I said, Novak too central the backhands. And yeah, I mean, some better backhands from Novak at 4-2 when he broke Mensik back, and slightly nervy shots from Mensik, but nothing too bad. Just some second serves as well, not hitting first serves and getting free points, and it was a break back for Novak. And then there was a point at 5-5 30 all in the first set on Mensik's serve. Mensik hits a massive serve and then just follows it up with forehand inside out. And that's kind of the story of it, is just like just unreturnable, nearly unreturnable serving from Mensik, which got him to 14 aces. Both players served well, to be fair, but just unreturnable serving from Mensik and doing it at clutch moments. It was the same story against Fritz. It was the same story against Draper. And yeah, I mean, I felt like Novak actually started hitting the forehand better from 4-2 up until the tiebreaker, but the forehand started breaking down the tiebreaker. I don't know what it was, but Novak's forehand started breaking down in the tense moments. I feel like maybe one reason to explain it is that he got maybe a little winded, unable to really get low to that shot and push off of it. I don't think it helped him that he did like a remarkable amount of running at 0-1 in the tiebreaker, because that was one of the points of the match. Mensik hit a shot that was lucky. It hit the net cord, and then Novak got two incredible gets, and Mensik finished the point with a really fantastic backhand smash, which he had a couple times in this match. I feel like Novak was a little bit winded after that rally, if he wasn't already, and quickly Mensik got up to 5-0. Novak not able to get a drink of water, any kind of quick rest, no rest from the serve clock, and basically the set was over. And that's what I'm saying. Novak, maybe when he's a little bit tired and winded, I felt like that forehand was just not really working. Like the more tired he got, the more that forehand was not working. I felt like in set 2, Novak's forehand actually got better. I felt like Novak's level got better. And I felt like Novak's movement seemed to get better a little bit too. He seemed to have a little bit more energy about him. And I was pretty uncertain which way the set was going to go. I still felt like Novak was very much in it. He still didn't look 100%, but he was looking a little bit better. But the thing is that Mensik's backhand really came to play in the second set. Like his improvement helped him in the first set, really. It really did. But it was more obvious in the second set. I would point to a moment in the match that I thought about, like while I was watching, I was like, wow, that is such a big moment for momentum. Sometimes when, you're watching a match, you're like, you don't really catch it. Sometimes catching the points that change the momentum of a match, it's more of a hindsight thing. You can look at something technical or a strategy or a pattern that somebody's doing, and that's easy to see in the moment. Sometimes when something changes the momentum, it's more of a thing in hindsight. But to me, I felt like right away, I was like, that was a couple of really big points for momentum. And the interesting thing about it was it didn't come at a point that seemed that big, but it was 2-1, 15 all, second set. And Novak, to this point in the set, was actually winning some really great rallies, and he was getting into more favored, patterns. He was not slicing as much. He was hitting over the backhand. They were going in. But Mensik's backhand, and also just returning really well with the backhand as well. But Mensik's backhand just becomes amazing in two back-to-back points at 15 all, when I felt like Novak actually is kind of in this service game. He's in a rally on Mensik's serve, maybe about to get to 15-30. He's playing better. But no, at 15 all, Mensik just hits a massive backhand down the line winner. Then the next point in a long rally, Novak doing really well to hit it deep and hard and in control to Mensik's backhand. Mensik just hit some huge backhands down the line to turn defense into offense a little bit, and Novak hits a forced error. So Mensik's backhand, that was key in the second set. And those were not the only couple of points, but I remember seeing the look on Novak's face after that second long rally where Mensik won, hitting that backhand down the line. And I think it was slightly a look of, man, even when I'm hitting the backhand well, Mensik is still winning the rally. So if my backhand reverts back to the way it's been most of the match, I'm kind of screwed. And also a look of like, wow, this is not what I expected from this guy. So I felt like big momentum points to keep Mensik with the momentum. Before the match started, there was a long rain delay. I didn't know how Mensik would show up mentally with the rain delay, and then also playing his first Masters final, playing his idol, going for his first ATP title. But this guy was stone cold. I was amazed at how mentally fearless he seemed in the semi against Fritz, and here, very much a similar story. Just so confident in his rhythm, his game against Novak, and very much with the momentum of everything. At 2-2, Novak faced some break points, but some clutch serves his ability to move forward kind of gutsily and finish off well at the net to save a couple break points. Those are the things that really saved him. I'll let you know what kind of unraveled him at the end of this set. In the set, Mensik became too reliant on drop shots. And Novak was actually running down some great defense towards the end of the second set, getting out some tight service games, being able to rely more on movement and defense. So felt like Novak in the second set was definitely better than the first set. Up until the tiebreaker, I wasn't sure which way this thing was going to go. Not fully dissimilar from the first set either, really not, but especially in the second set, I just really didn't know which way this thing was going to go. But then we get to the second set tiebreaker, all right? Here's what happened in the second set tiebreaker. And Novak starts off the tiebreaker hitting 2 backhand unforced errors into the net. Just too low, not able to really push off of that shot and hit over it. And I don't know if that's why he was so reliant on slicing throughout the match, because he was scared he was going to hit shots like that. But he just became too reliant on slicing, and he wasn't able to get low to the balls. And I mean, the same thing also caused him problems when he had an early backhand too short, which put Mensik on the front foot early in the rally, put Novak on defense, running down so many balls early in the tiebreaker as well. That was at 2-2. And honestly, at this point, this match kind of reminded me of an exact reversal of the Olympics final. I mean, the score is exactly reversed, but not just that. This was like very similar to the famous point at 2-2 in the second set tiebreaker of the Olympics. Djokovic went for the exact same forehand cross-court big shot, but this time he fell on the ground. So I just thought it was funny. It kind of reminded me of a reversal of that. And Mensik also playing the role of the mental giant here, winning the big points, which is what Djokovic was able to do in the Olympics. Mensik winning the big points. Both Djokovic and Mensik won 76 points apiece in this match, exactly the same number of points. But in tennis, it's not who wins the same number of points, who wins the most number of points, I should say, because then it would be a tie. Nope. You have to win the right points. And Mensik, learning from his idol, won the big points when it mattered the most. But yeah, even though Novak's movement was on, he didn't want to rely on defense. And yeah, his backhand's just falling too central, too short early in the rally. And Mensik really good at being able to stay in control. So yeah, I mean, it kind of reminded me of Draper, Mensik's run in Miami. A little bit reminded me of Draper, just serving so fantastic and then being able to stay on the front foot, showing off really good movement, even though I feel like Mensik and Draper, maybe aren't known for as good movement as, say, like an Alcaraz, although Mensik is a very good mover. But I feel like they were moving quite well and being quite athletic. And yeah, I don't know. It was another neutral backhand into the net at 5-3 for Novak in the tiebreaker, and that backhand ultimately lost Novak the match. Just the inability to consistently hit deep over the shot, and he needed it. And it also didn't help that Mensik's backhand was better than usual, but he needed that backhand to keep it away from Mensik's forehand, hitting it cross court from the backhand over the higher part of the net to Mensik's backhand. And he just didn't have that backhand today to keep it away from Mensik's forehand. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. The serves didn't come for Novak in the tiebreaker. He got into some rallies, and he wasn't even able to play strong enough shots to come into the net, because his backhand just was wayward from him. He wasn't able to hit it low over the net. He kept hitting it into the net. And Mensik did really well at targeting that backhand from Novak, no doubt about it, in this match. And yeah, that's pretty much my analysis of the final. I feel like Mensik, the biggest difference in this match is that, well, first of all, he hit 29 winners to 22 errors. It was 22 winners himself from Novak. So Mensik hit 7 more winners than Novak. And these are different stats from how it looked like in Shanghai. And also the biggest difference is that in Shanghai, Novak was winning an overwhelmingly big part of the long rallies. And here, Mensik really backed himself in the rallies. Didn't help that Novak's backhand wasn't on, but Mensik's forehand, and his backhand was better than usual, and his forehand was on. He was fine in the forehand against Novak, and he was opening up the court, attacking the backhand, hitting forehand inside out. And I think Novak needed that backhand, but that serve is nearly unreturnable, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Mensik fares against the rest of the tour. I think it's an exciting time ahead. And yeah, that's my analysis. Hopefully you guys join in for Monte Carlo and more stuff coming up. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to the new to Quality Shot Tennis. Check out all the new Tennis Era podcasts that have already come out. And Mensik superior and victorious in Miami. Some new blood coming out in Indian Wells in Miami, and Draper and Mensik. Good sights to see, and I'll see you guys at the next one.